Greetings, theists and non-theists. I'm the Atheist Paladin. Solar! And before I get to it, an addendum. Go to, of course, the last one. It's about wind. But it seems appropriate here. They're actually building a sort of like tower in Australia that takes advantage of solar energy. So it'll heat up the land under it and channel the air up through this shaft. So it's going to use solar to create a temperature differential, which will of course in turn drive the wind. And so they're building that in Australia. So no way to go Australia, because currently they're 100% coal. So it's a smart move there. But solar, there's two types of solar. Now, there is the photo-voltaic and the thermal. And there are new emerging technologies in both. One of the emerging technologies in thermal, most importantly, is the use of molten salt in its use. Now, what this does is actually allow it to store heat energy much more efficiently and use it over a period of days. And so you can actually have a solar thermal reactor actually produce power at night or in inclement weather. And the not having the sun is not exactly the greatest enemy as some people think. Now, when it comes to photovoltaics, now that is true. But the classic thing, the classic photovoltaic design is sort of like the silicon solar panels, and they only have a certain amount of efficiency, and they tend to actually be kind of expensive. But we're actually getting away from that. We're now using other materials. Some of the other designs are actually quite cheaper, but also less efficient. But there's the use of the quantum dots in order to boost that efficiency while still keeping it cheap. So that may not always be a problem. And the beauty of this is that we can still use these methods to actually even put on our houses. So everybody can put a 3 kilowatt thing on their house, and that will reduce strain on the grid, especially during peak time, because during peak time you're also making plenty of energy for yourself. So that reduces the peak time load, especially during summer. And well, another thing is I've actually seen to where one system was actually both solar thermal and photovoltaic. And the thermal port was used to heat the water in the house. And this can also cut your heating cost up to 60%. So that's actually quite good. So you're getting free electricity and you can cut your heating bill. And this not can only just heat your water, it can also be used as sort of a passive heating system in your floors. So there's actually lots of benefits when it comes to solar. And most importantly, the stuff can actually pay for itself within 5 years. That's the most problems with some of these solutions, is that it's the upfront cost. They have low maintenance costs, very low maintenance costs. Wind and solar, as for a home solution, have a problem of upfront costs. So that tends to be a problem. But there's also companies now that are leasing this, so homeowners and businesses can now get this technology, so they can still get the benefit of having a smaller energy bill, while at the same time not having to worry about the upfront costs. Now, what else can I talk about for the solar? Yes. I'll save that for the hydrogen. But there's another solution in order of producing cheap hydrogen that actually uses the sun. So, but I'll get to that later. And I think that's about it. I'll probably make an addendum if I get something else. But solar is a good thing. It's getting to where it's getting competitive, which is about $1 per watt. So the technology is getting there to where it's cheap. It used to be around $8 per watt. Yeah, and that's quite expensive. But $1 per watt, you're getting in the range. Well, now you can actually compete with coal and oil. So that's it.